Hey everyone, it's Cal from Dirty Weasel. We are continuing our look at the Starfield showcase video from a modding perspective and discussing possible ideas that may come out of the prolific Bethesda modding community. This is quite an expansive topic and broken into multiple videos. Part 1 covered the user interface and weapons and armor. Here in Part 2 we look at Outpost and Starship Construction. Let's start out with the base building. Bethesda first introduced a base and settlement building system in Fallout 4, and we saw it continued in Fallout 76. With the game showcase footage, we got our first look at how it would be implemented in Starfield. While we actually have very little to go by, let's break down some of what we see here. We get a look at the building area limits upon placing our first object, the Outpost Beacon. This implies that we can build anywhere on a planet, and it seems like quite a large area. I imagine that Bethesda has limits on the size of a settlement based on game stability and performance. This is easily overcome by modders as it is usually a simple parameter change in the file system or an ESP. You can decide for yourself if you need the extra space if your system can handle it. Next, we see the actual placement of buildings for your outpost. Right off the bat, we see that it is a top-down view. That's a big improvement over the ground level view that was implemented in Fallout 4. This is something that many people wanted, but we never saw actually realized. I'll point out here that this also includes multiple view options, including a toggable distance view, which is very nice. Quickly moving around the building screen, we see the available structures to be built, the materials required for each chosen structure, and finally a breakdown that includes cargo, crew, power, and production for your outpost in its current configuration. Modders are certain to bring many more structures to the game, both improvements to existing buildings and new ones. These could be quality of life enhancements or have truly unique features like teleporters or even a buildable Stargate as mentioned by many in the Starfield Reddits. I'll be very curious to see if your outpost comes under attack or face other challenges. If that is the case, I'm sure we'll see structures designed to counter those threats. While we don't get a look at building mechanics for the interior, I expect it to return to the first-person ground-level view, which seems appropriate. And here again, we are going to see many more options from the modding community. More furniture, more display options, more workstations, and even just a plethora of decorative knickknacks and bric-a-brac. Most Outpost structure mods will and should allow hollow shells, ready for you to build your dream homes according to your own wishes. While others will come fully furnished, already filled to the rafters with everything ready for you to take up residence. I'll point to some home mods from the highly acclaimed creator Eleonora as an example of what you can expect. It is important for mod creators to keep in mind game balance regarding the materials needed to build these structures, but also the power requirements to operate it and what contributes to an outpost as to cargo, crew, and production. This adds a level of complexity and thought that goes beyond just adding a player home to a location like in Skyrim, but I fully expect experienced mod creators to rise to the challenge. With the basics covered, let's discuss some real game changers. As mentioned in the showcase, we will be able to recruit NPCs to man our outposts. But let's face facts. NPC settlers in Fallout 4 were fairly useless. Hopefully Starfield will improve things. If not, we have seen examples from modders to set things right, whether in usefulness, variety, or appearance. If you don't feel up to designing your own outpost or want to share your awesome starbase with others, there's already a framework developed for Fallout 4 that I fully expect to be brought to Starfield. Mod creator C. Dante published Transfer Settlements Shareable Settlement Blueprints that allows you to download pre-built settlements as a mod for your game or export your settlement for others to do the same. Just to give you an idea on how big this is, there are over 1,700 blueprints for transfer settlements available on the Nexus. Mod author C. Dante is still very active in the community, and I suspect he is already thinking of things he can do with Starfield. This brings us to the big dog in the settlement mod discussion, Sim Settlements by King Gath. This mod overhauls the settlement system in Fallout 4 into a city building simulator that includes over 100 building plans, improved settlers and associated quests, and a framework for modding in community add-ons. It was probably the best mod available for Fallout 4 and was truly revolutionary in its scope and design. Using something like Sim Settlements, I can foresee your simple outpost growing and evolving into a true interstellar hub. Whether you want a pirate base, or a commerce hub with automated trade routes, or a burgeoning varied city supporting your search for alien artifacts or technology, a mod like Sim Settlements may be the key to greatly enhancing your gameplay experience. Here's where we change gears. Probably the biggest new feature introduced into Starfield, and the one many players are most excited for, is the starship design and construction. Looking at what we were given in the showcase, we see a modular mix and match system to building your starship. Whether you want a mobile do-it-all base or a combat specialized pirate hunter, it looks like you can build what you want using modules from different designs and/or corporations. With just the options we've seen so far, I can imagine a huge variety of designs being made by players, whether by buying the components from a corporation or constructing them from raw materials. As with the Outpost construction system, modders will bring many changes to the table. New weapon systems, engines, living quarters, science stations, or cargo cubes. Plenty of options will be available for modders. We will also see some fully furnished ones, as I discussed in the Outpost construction. I would love to see an enterprising mod creator come out with their own corporation, complete with full series of ships and components that can be integrated into the modular design system already found in the game. There are a lot of parameters to be considered while making a ship or component mod. Reactor power, mass, and how it affects mobility and speed, or the power for weaponry. How will your components affect hull integrity or shield strength? Will it add cargo capacity or allow for more crew members? It all needs to be accounted for by mod makers. One additional area that I was happy to see was customization. As you can see here, you can pick paint colors for your ship. While we didn't see any customization options beyond that, I would expect modders to come up with custom insignia or visual flourishes for ship components. Just thinking technically here, something like a decal that could be applied to any part of a ship that would act as an overlay on top of the paint job may work. Some heavy scripting would be involved to make it work, but I can see the eventual Starfield script extender making this a possibility. This leads to complete ships from mod creators. I've seen lots of comments wishing to see iconic ships from other franchises or fiction added into Starfield. I won't go into them all, but let's just say that everybody has a favorite they want to see as a mod for the game, and I'm sure many of them will become a reality. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news here. We have to rein in our expectations a bit. Already we have a number of issues to deal with. If rumors are to be believed, the spaceflight mechanics in Starfield is one of the major factors that caused the game to be delayed. And that has me worried about any mods that push the boundaries in regards to that system. I am sure that Bethesda is putting in limitations that affect how small or how large a ship can be, as it affects so many facets of spaceflight and combat. Physics, hitboxes, third-person cameras, really just too many to list. And while it may be possible to overcome some of these limits with effective modding, it has to be done within reason, or they will break an already unstable game engine that has an untested new mechanic being stressed by new mods. We would all love to zip around in an X-Wing class fighter or dominate space with a kilometer-long super battleship, but it is likely that many of those ideas will just not be feasible. It is going to take a huge amount of work to make any starship mod for Starfield, and I know of very few mod creators that have all the skills needed. 3D modeling, textures, scripting, and proper ESP edits and creation will all be needed to make things work. And the more I think about it, it may take an entire team of mod creators to pull off something like that properly. These are all questions that need to be addressed after we get a chance to pull the game engine apart to see how it works. In the meantime, we'll just have to hang on to our hopes and dreams. Thank you for watching. More videos on Starfield modding possibilities are in the works, so stay tuned for those. Leave me a comment with your modding ideas for Starfield. I would enjoy hearing what you want to see in the game. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and share it with others. Also, please subscribe to us here at Dirty Weasel Media. I would greatly appreciate it. My name is Cal, I'm from Dirty Weasel, and I'm signing off.